everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I decided that I would finally film my video on working at Lush, and specifically working at Lush with a disability. Ever since I mentioned to you guys on Twitter and also my blog and on here as well that I work at Lush and that I have a disability, I have a visual impairment, a lot of you guys have been asking me to make a video on how I work at Lush with a disability and how I've been finding it, and also my general experiences of working at Lush as a company. So that's what I'm going to be filming for you today. But if you guys would like me to do anything more specifically about how to get a job at Lush, so applying for Lush, the interview stage, the shop trial, anything like that, then just let me know in the comments and I will definitely film some more videos for you. But today I'm just going to be focusing on after I got the job and working at Lush. Let me first of all tell you a little bit about my disability for any of you who are new to my channel or aren't really familiar with me and don't know about my disability. So I have a condition called septo-optic dysplasia, which is a congenital condition, and it affects the endocrine system in my body, which prevents me from producing certain hormones. So I'm on a medication to replace those hormones. I am hypoglycemic as well, so I have very low blood sugar, and I also have a visual impairment, which is part of my condition. So I am legally registered as severely sight impaired. I'm blind in my right eye and I've only got central vision in my left eye, and I've got very low acuity vision, so I can't see very far distances either, and I can't read text very well, etc, etc, etc. I won't go into that too much today because I've already done a video talking about my sight loss and also my condition. I'll link both of those down below if you guys want to know more about that. I have been a fan of Lush for many years. I began to be a fan of Lush from, I think it was like 2013 I want to say, when I made my first ever trip into my local store in Bromley and fell in love with the company and the ethics and the ethos and all the really fun aspects to Lush and what they tried to make and what they're trying to do, and obviously their activism as well and their stance on animal testing and all things like that. And I really loved the brand, and I could always see myself working somewhere like that because it's the kind of thing that I'm passionate about, and a lot of their values correlate to my own values. But I didn't ever think that I would really get the chance to work at Lush. I didn't really ever think too much about it. My local Lush in Bromley advertised that they were taking on Christmas temp staff, and I thought to myself, oh, maybe I could apply for that. So I sent off my CV, covering letter, my references. Then a few weeks later I got invited for an interview. Then after the interview I got a shop trial. I then got given the job as Christmas temp. So I worked there from September until December as a Christmas temp, and then after that I got offered a permanent position. So now I work at Lush permanently as a part-time member of staff. Now I work part-time, I work 10 hours a week, I work 2 shifts. Usually I work on a weekend and 1 day in the week, and I also occasionally have to do things like the training hours as well and group staff meetings, and I have to do things like that. So a lot of kind of company training as well and staff training. I first of all want to go into some of the things that I've personally loved working at Lush. Now, I love the perks you get, I love the people I work with, I love the group of people I work with in Bromley. I really get on with all my team members. I think they're a lovely bunch of people to work with, and I think working at Lush, you meet a lot of very diverse people with different kind of backgrounds and who have different interests, and that's for me one of the best things about working in a company like Lush, because they're a company that really do embrace diversity, as obviously I'm testament to, right? So it's a company that really will accept diversity, that I've personally found, and you really do get to work with a really cool and interesting bunch of people. Of course, you do also work for an ethical company as well, so there's that to it. So you work for a company that cares a lot about not only the customers, but the people that they're buying from, that they're sourcing ingredients from, the ingredients they're putting into their products, and also their staff members as well. Because I find that working at Lush, I am cared about a lot, and that I do get treated very well, and that I do have my needs met. A lot of people have been asking me, are they a good company to work for, and do you feel that your access needs have been met? And I would say, yeah, on the whole I really do feel like that, and I'd say that I'm very content working at Lush. So I first of all want to start off by talking about the adaptions that have been made for me, because I think one of the most important things about getting into any job when you have a disability is that you need to make sure that your employers will meet your access needs and that they will understand that you have certain things that need to be met. But one of the things that they've done for me is they have given me all of the materials that I need, so things like all of the information packs, anything like that. They've given it to me via documents online. They've emailed everything to me. When I work in store, I have use of the iPad, which is the store iPad, and they allow me to customize the access features on it if I need to. So when I'm working with a customer and they want to know about a specific product and it's about a specific ingredient and I can't read the print, so say for instance a customer comes in and they want to know about a product and they want to know about the preservative and they want to know more about it and what it does if they've got a particular skin allergy, for example, and I need to give them accurate information, because obviously working in skincare and working in beauty, you're dealing with people's skin. You need to make sure you're giving them the right information. That's very important. So I have the iPad which I can zoom in on and I can give them more information about. I also do keep magnifiers in a special container that's kept in the staff room, because I also have my medical kit, which I mentioned. I have an emergency medical kit that I have to have in case of an emergency, and that's stored very safely in the staff room along with my magnifying glasses in a box. Now, when I started working for Lush, I was very clear about my medical condition. I didn't sugarcoat. Obviously, I'm going to need to have breaks to have sugar because I'm hypoglycemic. I get low blood sugar and might need to have an emergency injection if I hit my head, if I break a limb, if I'm sick more than twice, because it's a medical emergency. I explained to them all about my ambulance protocol so they know about my condition. When I started working at Lush, my manager also put large print labels on all of the cupboards. So everywhere that has cupboards for skincare or hair care, he basically put large print labels so I knew which cupboard was which, and I also got given a shop tour of everything so I knew where everything was. So I knew where all of the cupboards was, where all of the specific bath bombs were kept. And I don't have to do a lot of the stocking because there's certain members of staff who are allocated to do that. However, when it's quiet, I do stock things up if there's no one who's available to do that. So when I started my job, they also showed me where everything was. And when the shop was reorganised for the Christmas stock, they also showed me where they'd put everything. And obviously whenever anything's moved or anything is changed, the position of, obviously, because working in a shop, they also have to make sure that they're restocking the merchandise and that they're orientating it around the shop. They have also made a point to show me if they move anything at all so that I personally know where it is, because it's quite embarrassing me, like with a customer, and say, oh yeah, it's over this way, and then you go, oh no, wait, that's not the product actually, where the hell is it? It's quite embarrassing. And also another thing I just want to mention is that I work on the early shifts usually. I don't ever work late shifts. I don't work the party shifts or the closing shifts because of the fact that it gets dark at a certain time and I go completely blind in the dark. So I personally don't feel comfortable working those shifts, and a reason for that is because I don't take my guide dog with me when I work those 2 days. That's something a lot of people have been asking me, what do I do with the guide dog? And the answer to that is I don't take her in when I work because the staff room is too small, it's too hot. It wouldn't be fair for me to bring her somewhere and leave her like that because she wouldn't be very comfortable. We did discuss possibly having someone mind her in the centre whilst I do my shift, but to be honest, I don't really see the point in that because my work is literally a couple of minutes from the bus stop and my bus stop is outside my house, so she wouldn't be getting enough of a walk anyway, and I'd have to leave her for 5 hours while I do my shift. So what I do is I leave her at home on the 2 days that I work and I just take her out for a walk after I get home. So I might just take her out to the shops or whatever, just so she's still getting a walk and so she's still working. But I don't take her with me when I'm working my shifts just because it wouldn't really be fair on her, and I wouldn't really feel comfortable with leaving her with someone that she doesn't know.
Hey guys, it's just me post-editing this video, and as I've gone through it, I've completely forgot to mention the fact that I still have to use a mobility aid to get to work. So instead of my guide dog, I use a long cane when I go to work and when I travel to and from work.
However, when I do work on the training session, so when I have to come in for after hours training, I do take her then, obviously, because it's after hours. That's all completely fine, and to be honest, I'm totally happy with that. I do not mind leaving Unity at home for the 2 days that I work. One of my parents will be home anyway, especially when I'm on the weekends shifts, because my parents are both home on the weekends, so it's not an issue, and I still take her out after I come home. So she's still getting worked, and she's still getting worked as a guide dog. She's just not with me when I work those 2 shifts. So those are the adjustments that have been made for me. The most crucial one definitely was having breaks and intervals to go back to the staff room to be able to eat if I'm getting low blood sugar, and also being sure that I've got things like my magnifiers that I can leave in store so I can use them when I'm out on the shop floor, because the print of the packaging of the ingredients is very small. Now for me personally, I want to be able to in turn offer my employer something and offer them as much of myself and my skills as possible. Now, from working at Lush, I learned that I have very good skills with people. I'm able to kind of get on very well with customers and greet them very easily. And I'm also memorise things very easily. I've got a very good memory, so I'm able to know ingredients of products and what products have what in the gift. So I'm able to remember things from the gift section. And I think that's something to do with my visual impairment, because as someone with a visual impairment, I can't always rely on my sight to look at things and tell you what's in something. So I have to try and memorise things. And that's how it's been for all of my life. So I've been able to kind of channel that skill that I've developed from a very early age into my work. So when it comes to ingredients, people are always really shocked at how much I can remember and know. And actually, when I started to work at Lush, my managers were really shocked at how much I knew about all the ingredients, and they couldn't believe how much knowledge I had as, you know, kind of a Christmas temp. I knew a lot about the different products, and obviously I'm a fan of Lush. Obviously that goes without saying. If you want to work for Lush, you should be a fan of the products, and you should like the company, and you should know a bit about the products anyway. But I made a point at trying to memorise things and remember what ingredients were in what. And also, I actually have been on some cosmetics courses for natural beauty. So a couple of years ago, I went on a course to make your own beauty products with essential oils and natural ingredients, which obviously is very helpful working at Lush, because Lush is a company that tries to make products with natural ingredients, essential oils, and they try to use as natural ingredients as possible. That knowledge that I'd built up and accumulated from that course that I did a few years ago really did come into practice with my job at Lush, and it really has helped me to advance and actually to get noticed, and for me to be offered the job, because I remembered so much about the ingredients and I was able to offer a lot in terms of product knowledge. When I did start at Lush, I didn't cut the soaps and I didn't do things like the till a lot, because it was Christmas and it was very busy and, you know, very stressful, and I was mainly working at the shop floor at the front, greeting people and helping them find a gift, because that's what my strengths are. But now it's more quiet and I'm able to explore different avenues of working at Lush. I do things like cut the soaps now. I do things like work on the tills, count the change, and I'm absolutely fine with that. And with the soaps, I've got used to knowing how much 100 grams will fill roughly, and you know how to wrap it as well. Things like with the till, I tend to try and remember the product codes, so I don't have to try and type in and manually search for a product, obviously, because working at Lush you have to type in a code to get the product to put the label on it. So I memorise the product codes as much as I can. For me, my skill and my ability is to memorise products and to know about the ingredients and to have a passion about the products. So that's where I'm trying to translate my skills into, and that's something that I've really found that I'm able to do very well, particularly with things like the skincare sections, the face masks. I've got a very big passion for those. And things like the bath bombs, I'm very into essential oils, so knowing which ones have which in them, I know a lot about that, and I know a lot of them off by heart now, which I'm very proud of. I've been able to retain a lot of that knowledge. I have mentioned that I do face some difficulties working at Lush, but I also want to say that I'm never left on my own. If I ever have any difficulties, my team that I work for are literally the nicest, most supportive people you could ever work with. They are so lovely to me, and when I started to work at Lush, they were like, if ever you have any difficulties, if ever you can't read anything, please don't feel like you can't ask us. My manager was absolutely amazing. I had applied for so many jobs in retail before Lush, and I've been turned down for all of them, even though I had the experience. So it's not that I can't do it and that I doubt my capabilities, but I just didn't think anyone would see that I was able to do the job. However, Lush did, my employer, my manager did, and he wanted to give me the chance, and he wanted to see how it would work, and he was very interested to see how I would be able to fit in you know, the retail environment working at Lush. Turns out I was able to do the job, and I was able to get on and get things done, and I've really enjoyed working at Lush, and I could definitely see myself going further with Lush. I really want to do more with Lush as a company. I would love to work on things like access and diversity and areas where access can be improved. Lush are a great company to work for, and they do care a lot about the customers. I booked a treatment at the spa, and literally the spa were like, we will take the dog, we will look after the dog while you have your treatment, we will go and take the dog out in the garden and play with her. And literally they're just going to pay someone for the 2 hours that I'm in the spa treatment to dog sit my dog. Like, how cool is that? I don't know many companies in terms of retail and the spa and beauty sector who would do that, so I think that's absolutely amazing. Now, I have mentioned some things that I find difficult. I do find things like cutting the soaps difficult, and I have done up to a certain point, but I'm getting better at that now. But I think that's part and parcel with working at Lush. I don't know one single employee at Lush who hasn't made an undercut and cut a soap under 100 grams. If you know about Lush, you know that Lush can't sell any soaps under 100 grams. You have to get it at 100 grams or over. I used to undercut quite a lot, but I've got a lot better at that. Other things that I find difficult about working at Lush is things like distinguishing the bath bombs. So some of our bath bombs are similar colours. So for example, you'll have Butterball and you'll have Dragon's Egg are the same colour, or you'll have Intergalactic and Big Blue, which are both blue, or bath bombs that are the same colour or look very similar. Now, the way I differentiate with the bath bombs is actually quite weird. When I'm at the till and I'm putting all the things through and I'm putting the labels on, if I don't know which one it is from the colour or the sort of the feel of it, I'll get it and I'll smell it. So I'll be like, I love this one. And it's not that I'm actually smelling it to appreciate it. Obviously, I do love the smells, but I'm actually trying to smell it to work out, is it Sex Bomb, is it Twilight, is it Intergalactic, or is it Big Blue? And that's the way I work it out. And it might sound really weird, but that's how I have to work out the bath bombs, because they've all got very different scents. And if I can't tell by the colour alone, because I can still see colour, I have to smell them. That's really weird to say, but that's what I do. Working at Lush is that you have to make sure that you're greeting customers when they come through the door and that you're giving them a very good customer service. Sometimes I don't always see customers coming in, so I miss them and I don't physically see that they've come in to go up and greet them. So what I have to do is I have to physically face the door and make sure that I'm making myself look approachable and that I'm smiling and that I'm listening out for customers who are coming in, and that's what I tend to do. Sometimes when it's busy it's difficult to do, but I think the most important thing is to make yourself look approachable and to have like a very kind of open body language and face the direction of the entrance. Do things like, you know, demo the bubble bars as well, because obviously at Lush we have to get the bubble bars and demo them and show you how they work, kind of face the shop floor and just be as interactive as possible. So that's what I try and do, so that people ask questions and I can start chatting to them, and that tends to work just fine. And I don't always disclose to people that I have a disability. I don't always find it necessary, but there's something funny that's happened, like I've picked up the wrong product. So I've gone over to the skincare section and they say, oh, I want to get a face cream that is good for sensitive skin, and I've picked up the wrong one. I'm like, oh no, that's Enzymian, I need to get a Celestial or whatever it might be. If they get moved around and the products have been moved and I've not been told yet, I just say, oh sorry, like, so it's because I'm visually impaired, and I explain my sight loss. That's times when I tend to explain that I have visual impairment, but I don't feel like I have to disclose it all the time. There are some times that I do, but I just tend to find that I can get around the shop floor without having to. Of course, when it's busy or when there's lots of customers in and they've got shopping bags and it's quite busy, it's difficult to navigate around, and there have been times where I've knocked things over. So for example, on Christmas Eve I was trying to fill up a demo bowl, change the water so we can show a different bath bomb, because that's what you do at Lush. And as I was on my way back, I literally knocked over the Christmas display table, and about 5 bottles of snow fairy went whoosh, and went shooting over the other side of the shop, and I was like, happy Christmas guys! You know, here we go at Lush, we aim to please. I am the comedy act. I've learned a lot about myself working at Lush. I've learned about my skills, and I feel that I've personally been able to really excel in areas that I didn't know that I could. I've really been able to put my skills into practice, my skills with knowledge about products and ingredients, my IT skills, my speaking skills, my social skills. I've just really been able to expand on my knowledge and grow as a person and as someone who works in the retail industry, and I'm really incredibly grateful to Lush as a company, but also in particular my manager, for giving me the chance to really have a go and to put my skills into practice and see how it would fare for me. And I've been able to prove it to myself and also to other people, that so many of you have been so supportive and that you really genuinely are pleased that I've been able to prove that you can work in retail with a visual impairment. And it's not even just me. I know lots of people who are visually impaired, completely blind, who work in retail from different sectors, from beauty to technology, and they are able to do it too, and they are also testament that you can work in retail when you have a visual impairment or a disability. You don't have to let that stop you. And my advice to you guys is that if you want to work in retail and you have a disability, remember that you have skills to offer. You have things to offer just as much as the next candidate, and you have a lot to give just as much as anybody else, and it's about finding the skills that you have developed and that you're able to deliver those skills into whatever sector you're working for. So it's just about having confidence in yourself, The most important thing is to be open and honest and to talk to your employer about your abilities and what you can do. If you have confidence in yourself, there will come a time and an opportunity where an employer will also see that confidence, and they will want to accept that confidence, and they will want to offer you a position in whatever environment you're going to be working in. Working at Lush, it's given me so much. It's given me in terms of confidence and meeting new people and having faith in my abilities, and I could not be more grateful to Lush as a company for that, and actually for giving me that chance. That is all I have to say for this video today. I really hope you guys found it useful, and I'm sorry if it was really long and waffly, but I have a lot to say on this topic, and I really hope it's given you some food for thought. Like I said, if you guys would like me to do any videos about working at Lush in terms of how I got the job and getting a job, please do let me know, and I'd be more than happy to make some videos like that, or anything else on the topic of working at Lush, or even Lush in general. If you want to know about products, if you'd like me to do any more videos on my favourite products at Lush, then please do let me know, because I know a lot more about Lush as a company than I did before, so my knowledge has grown within the last few months. Thank you all so much for watching this video today, guys. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, because I'm almost up to 3,000 subscribers, so it would be great to reach that amount very soon. I'd be really grateful if you'd subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!